I figured out how to start dropshipping alongside a full-time job, and I know it works because it worked for me. What I'm doing in this video today with the screen in front of me, I'm going to show you the process to start dropshipping alongside a full-time job, no matter how busy you are in that job and no matter how unsure you feel. I'll do this with a 3-step process in today's video. The first step will be how to balance full-time work alongside entrepreneurship. Step 2 is why we choose dropshipping specifically. And step 3, I'm going to guide you through the steps to get started and how you can maintain momentum to stay consistent to see huge success with a dropshipping business. If you're new to the channel, my name is James Eardley. I've built and scaled my e-commerce businesses to over 7 figures, which has allowed me time and location freedom. And with these videos, I'm helping others to achieve the same success. So I've got some points to show you on here, which we'll go through together now. And the first thing to talk about is balancing full-time work and entrepreneurship, because time management is going to be absolutely crucial for you to succeed with a business model. When you're full-time in a job, ultimately you've got yourself going to be pulled in 2 different directions at all times, and you need to know how to manage your time effectively so that you can maintain your job at the same time, but really start to grow and scale a side hustle or a dropshipping business alongside. Now, I know when I first started, what I needed to really get clear on was how I was going to actually manage my time. So when I first started in my job, and I'll move this across so you can see me a bit more clearly, I was basically working in a busy 9-to-5 job in my hometown in a housing association, and none of the work I was doing day to day had any correlation to starting an e-commerce dropshipping business. So I knew that it was going to be, my mind was going to be in 2 separate places, but what I needed to make sure was that I started to put a routine in place. So I had set times in the day where I'd be working at work, and then I had set times where I'd be working on the dropshipping business. Now, the importance of having set times, especially if you're in a full-time job, is so that you know that when you're at work, you're fully at work, and you need to still give it your all at that point. And when you're doing your business work, you're fully focused on doing that business work and nothing else can distract you. Otherwise, if you ever try and multitask, and if you know this, if you've ever tried to switch between tasks and try to do more than one thing at a time, what happens is you don't get either of those tasks done to a high level because you're being split in 2 different directions. So it doesn't matter if you are working and you can't work on your business. Don't think about your business, just get focused on work. And then when you do get the time to work on your e-commerce business, the most important thing is that it's taken separately and that time is purely focused on your business. Otherwise, you'll never get that done to a high level. So what I like to do with my own time when I was first getting started was using the early mornings shifts. So I was more of a morning person, and I'd rather people put this time in the morning rather than the evening, because it's so easy to put things off if you decide that, between 8 and 9 p.m, for example, that's the time that you work on your business. If you've had a busy day at work and you're feeling tired at the end of the day, it's much more likely, if you decided that you want to do work on your business at the end of the day, that it will get put off because you think you've got other things to do, you're feeling tired, and it's easy to put things off. Instead, if you decide that the morning you're going to do an hour a day alongside your job to get a business started, that won't get moved around because you know it's the first thing that you're going to do when you wake up. Perhaps you set your alarm half an hour earlier to go off, and you won't spend your first half an hour of the day scrolling on your phone or being unintentional with your time. Start to be intentional, and it can make a huge difference because you'll need to be managing your time more effectively. Final thing is to break the task that you are doing into really small, manageable chunks. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you've got your own full-time job and you've got a business that you're starting. The only way you can really get stuck into the work that you need to do is to forget about the large goal that you've set yourself. Don't think about where you're going to be in a month, 2 months' time. Just think about what you need to do every day. So you just need to think about what you need to do today. It's just one task at a time, and don't think any bigger than that. Okay, so the way that we actually can understand what it is we're going to do every day is to set clear goals. If you don't have clear goals, then you don't know where you're going, and there's no way of you actually getting there unless you know what the end result is. So you always have to work backwards with this sort of thing. You have to start by looking at the bigger picture, and then you have to bring that right down into how does that look day to day. So, for example, you need to start off with your long-term goals. And if your long-term goal is to have a successful dropshipping business that has replaced and doubled or tripled your income, and you can do it from half an hour a day, then that is your long-term vision, and you need to start with that. So the way to get to whatever your long-term vision is for you, it's going to be completely individual to you. You need to start visualizing what does the perfect day look like for you in a year, 2-3 years time. What does that look like? What sort of income are you bringing in? Have you got goals to do 50k profit per month? What does that lifestyle look like? Or is it more so important about the fact that you don't have much work to do and you want to make sure everything's outsourced and automated so you can spend time doing what it is you love? Or whatever it is, make sure it's really clear so you have that long-term vision in mind. Then from that long-term vision, you can really start to break that all down into how do you actually get yourself from the position you're in today to the position that you want to be. There'll be a gap in between, and the only way to bridge that gap is to take the actions that you need to take. So from a large goal, like having a dropshipping business, and I can speak to this myself because this was what I went through, I had to break that right down into, okay, what do I need to do this month? What do I need to do this week? And then what do I need to do every day? And with that, I had a goal that I needed to do every day. And so every day I knew exactly what I was doing and I could keep my momentum going like that. And it stopped me from getting overwhelmed because I had a full-time job as well. So from having a large goal, the way I broke that right down was into little chunks. So for a dropshipping business, there are clear chunks involved with building and scaling a business. And it will be the same with any business model. For dropshipping, the first thing you need to do is set up your limited company and a business bank account. Then you need to choose your niche. Then you build a Shopify store. Then you sign suppliers. Then you run your ads. And then you outsource and automate that process. So I would break that right down into the weeks that I knew I could work on my business and break down the tasks into even smaller components than that. And from that point, I knew exactly what I was doing every day and I could start to build up my momentum. But you have to have your goals. Otherwise, it's like having no direction at all when you're going for a drive. You don't know where you're going to end up if you don't have a direction clearly set before you set off. The biggest hack and biggest shortcut that I've found to achieving your goals quickly, and this is especially important if you've got a full-time job, is that you need to find support systems. Whether that's friends, family, mentors, communities, support systems are going to give you a leg up. So when I was in a full-time job, your head is so busy. It's almost filled with possible tasks that you could do, whether that's on your business or whether that's on your full-time job. There's always an endless list of things that you can be working on. The way that I found to decipher and to break down what are the most important tasks and find out what I really need to work on was by asking people who were already successful in the field that I wanted to get to. So instead of having to work that all out myself, there are shortcuts out there to just get around people who are already achieving what you want to achieve, and it makes the process so much quicker. So I joined the Dropship Unlocked Masterclass, which in the UK is an amazing program that teaches you how to build a dropshipping business. I'm now a coach for that program, but what it gave me was a community and mentors that are already in the position that I wanted to be in. So alongside my full-time job, when I just had to quickly act and do something quickly on the business that I was growing, I knew exactly what I needed to do because there were people to follow. I didn't have to work it out for myself. So think about a support system like when you are in a supermarket and you don't know where to find the spaghetti or a specific item that you're looking for. You can either spend half an hour going up and down every aisle trying to work out where to find the spaghetti, or you can go directly to a shop assistant who will tell you exactly where to go. And that is exactly the same with a support system. Do you want to be doing all of the legwork, or do you want to just go straight to somebody who knows exactly what to do and can tell you what to do? So think about how you can get around support systems. So that's how we make sure that we are focused on the business, get your goals set, get around support communities. The next thing, step 2 to talk about is why dropshipping in the first place, because you need to be 100% committed when you do get started, because it will be tough alongside a full-time job. So why do we choose dropshipping? Well, I chose it because one of the main reasons was actually the low startup costs. It requires hardly any upfront investment compared to the majority of business models. So instead of having to raise tens, hundreds of thousands of pounds to start a business, I just had a few £1,000s that I could get started with a business that had huge scaling potential. Don't need to buy stock, don't need to get staff. And basically, if you're in a position where you don't have tens of thousands of pounds or hundreds of thousands of pounds to start a business, but you know that you want to have the freedom that a business will allow you, and being in control of your time and tying your own income to a profit of a business, then I believe dropshipping is one of the very best business models to start because of the low upfront costs. Also, related to the goal setting part, if your goals are similar to mine, where you want independence, you want freedom, you want to be able to live anywhere in the world, you want to be able to work on your own schedule, and you want to be able to be financially independent as well, where you can completely look after yourself and you're not reliant on a job or anyone to tell you what to do, then I believe you need to be in a business that gives you all of that freedom. So dropshipping gives you time freedom because it's a business that you run. You won't have a boss in front of you, so you can tell yourself what times you want to work. You'll have location freedom because it's all done from a Wi-Fi connection and a laptop, and you can take those with you wherever you go in the world. And also it gives you financial freedom because you're tying your income to the profit of a business, and that is a much faster way to become financially free than to wait for promotions in that job that you've got at the moment. Okay, and scalability as well. If you're an ambitious person like me and you've got big goals, then the way that you can actually get to these big goals, you have to be in a business where your income is tied to your profits. If it's not, if your income is purely tied to the salary that you can be provided by your company, then it's going to take a lot longer to justify a higher salary in a company than it would be for your own business. That's because when you're working for another company, and say you make that business £100,000 more every month, well, the business will take a large portion of that because you're doing it for the business. And then it gets watered down before you reach the benefit. So maybe you'll get £1,000, £2,000 bonus at the end of the month. If you make £100,000 extra for your own business, well, then it's up to you to decide how much of a bonus you deserve. And you could justify giving yourself, 20, 30, 50k out of that profit that you generated and still leave your business in a very healthy position, not taking all of the money out. So you can see how the scale is much easier to see how you can do that with a business compared to being and staying in a full-time job. So step 3 is actually the process to getting started alongside a full-time job. The first thing to do is to get educated, learn, and research. And I say this because it's easy to just try and dive into things, and it's exactly what I did. I didn't do enough research, didn't learn enough, didn't try and self-educate myself enough, and so what that led to was failure. I watched a few YouTube videos about dropshipping online, saw that you could sign up to a website called AliExpress, saw that you could start dropshipping cheap products from China around the world. Without doing any more research about the products I was going to sell, I just started running Facebook ads because I'd seen a tutorial about how to run Facebook ads for dropshipping, and I didn't realize how unready I was to get started. And all that led me to was losing thousands of pounds that I didn't need to lose if I'd have just educated myself up front. So now, after that moment, because I remember feeling like such a failure, my head in my hands, like just staring at a wall, because I thought I was going to be able to get out of my job. But because it failed, it really hit me hard, thinking, I thought I was going to be able to get out, thought I was going to be able to make this work. But if you don't have the research and the learning around you, there's no way you can expect to achieve big results. So I had to pick myself up from that position, push on regardless, knowing that it was just a lesson, and that as much as it hurt, as long as I took on board all of the lessons from that experience, I'd be able to continue and push on. So now I'm teaching you not to feel that same pain, that shame of defeat. Instead, understand from the very start, the more you learn, the more you educate yourself, the better the success more quickly. So the way to do that, there's obviously online courses, there's great books around marketing and e-commerce, and also online communities, I think, is probably the best way because you can get around people that are not very different to you. And you've also got the back and forth chatter with online communities to learn from others' experience and also ask your own specific questions. So spend some time, find some YouTube channels, find podcasts, find communities, and really get around people that are in the position you want to be in. Then you need to actually go through the process of building the business. So you've got yourself learning, you've watched a few videos, you're watching a few podcasts regularly, you've got into communities, you feel like you're getting a good solid base of knowledge. But the best thing to do at this point is actually to start taking action. So I know I made a huge point then about getting educated, but there is a point where you can watch so many videos, listen to so many podcasts, but if you don't start taking action, you'll never achieve the results you need to achieve. So once you've got some knowledge behind you, you've watched some videos and podcasts, you're in a community, don't delay, don't paralyze yourself by just trying to learn more and more and analyze more and more. The next thing to do is actually to go ahead from this position and to start building the business. So I mentioned the first thing to do is to get a business bank account. I recommend Tide, and to open a limited company so that you are going to take this seriously. And also for various reasons it's beneficial, which I've been through in my other videos on my channel. Then you need to choose a niche. And this is going to be based on research. So something that's crucial if you are in a full-time job, the niche you're going to choose needs to be a niche that is going to be possible alongside a full-time job. And when I talk about selecting a niche, what I mean is choosing the products that you are going to be selling on your Shopify website. So to choose the products, you need to think about the lifestyle that you want to live and the lifestyle you've got right now. If you're in a full-time job, you won't have hours and hours of time to be speaking to thousands of customers and fulfilling thousands of orders. Instead, that's why I recommend you go into high-ticket products, because then you'll have about 10 times less customers, 10 times less orders, but 10 times more profit, even with that numbers. So, if you're selling things for £1,000 compared to £20, you only need to make a fraction of the number of orders, speak to a fraction of the number of customers, but you'll make more profit. That's why I'm a big proponent of high-ticket dropshipping niches. Before you choose which products you're going to sell, do some market research, follow the niche criteria that we teach at Dropship Unlocked to identify a profitable niche, because the problem I did when I first started dropshipping was I started running ads, started building a store around products around a niche before I'd validated that niche was going to be successful. So I know that you can either decide to learn by spending money, or you can learn by researching. And I'd much rather learn by researching because it's not costly, doesn't hurt as much, just try and teach everyone now how to choose a profitable niche from the start, so you don't have to lose all that wasted money that I did when I first got started. The next step will then be to find that time in your day, as we spoke about. If you're going to do an hour a day in the morning, you can choose a niche in that time over the course of a couple of weeks, and then you can start building your Shopify store. I recommend choosing a platform that's easy to use, like Shopify, and that's the one I've always used for my e-commerce businesses. It's the world leader, and you may as well go straight to the best. So you go to a platform like Shopify, watch a tutorial or follow the examples provided in a online community that you're part of, and build your store around the niche that you're going to go into. Then you upload your products and make sure you've got all the shipping settings correct for the suppliers that you're going to sign, and then you push on from that position. Okay, so you know that you need to set some time aside, you've got your goals sorted, and now you know that you need to get around communities, business bank account, limited company, build a Shopify store. You're in a fantastic position now to be running this e-commerce business that's going to give you the time, location, financial freedom that you're looking for. The way that you make this successful is that you are consistent. So as with anything in life, e-commerce businesses, running online businesses is no different. If you're going to achieve something, there's going to be work to get to that position where you can achieve something great. And there's going to need to be a lot of consistency over a long period of time in order for you to succeed. So it's all about being consistent in your efforts, setting dedicated time aside each day. And something I like to talk about a lot when it comes to consistency is the only way you can be consistent is if you have a sustainable consistency plan. So what I mean by that is, don't set a unrealistic routine for yourself that you can't stick to. Something I see a lot in the fitness gym world is people want to lose weight, and they'll sign up to a marathon where they've got to train 5 times a week, and they're doing 100k runs over the course of a week for 4 months leading up to a marathon. And it's so much to go from where you are today to get ready to run a marathon. And so as soon as that marathon's over, you never want to run again, because you've gone over the top. And that's even if you make it to the marathon, if you don't burn out before that or get an injury. And people do that in the business world as well. They decide, right, I'm going to start a business, so I'm going to start setting my alarm at 5 a.m. and I'm going to work for 10 hours every day, a full-time job plus the business work that I'm going to do. And it's just completely unsustainable. So make sure you've got a routine that is something you can stick to for the long term. And if you can't do it for 5 years, then don't bother doing it for 5 minutes. Don't set a routine for yourself that you can't sustain, otherwise there's no point doing it in the first place. Being consistent as well means you can constantly see your progress. You can celebrate your small wins, which means you can keep building up momentum. Okay, now networking and community. The way that you make it consistent, the way that you get to progress and to success a lot quicker is by being around other people. When things were tough for me, what I could rely on is speaking to other people that were going through the same thing and speaking to other people that were in a full-time job that were also building a business. When you're in a full-time job, if you're anything like me, the people that you're around in that job are probably nothing like you. A lot of people don't have these same aspirations, these same goals to achieve big things with their lives. And the conversations we have with people in a full-time job aren't very inspirational because these people are happy just to get by Monday to Friday, enjoy the weekend, and then look forward to Friday again when it comes around to Monday. And this isn't very inspiring. You are ultimately a product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And if you're not getting around people that you want to be like, then it's very difficult for you to really get away from the people that you are like and the people that you're around. So you need to start thinking about how can you get around more people that are in the position you are wanting to be in, or in the position that they also have the same values and they're growing the same business. So get around people is going to be absolutely key. Attend webinars, workshops, meetups, expand your network, and it's just going to make a huge difference to you. Remember, your network is your net worth. And finally, continuous learning and growth is going to be key throughout your journey. Growing a business, there's no end goal. You don't win business. You don't complete business. The whole point of business is actually to stay in business and to continuously learn and grow every single day. That is the point. That's how we win. We win when we succeed and continuously learn. So set your mindset from the start to understand that you're just going to go onto a journey of continuously learning and growing every single day. And by doing that, you'll adapt to everything that changes in the e-commerce world, and you'll be able to grow regardless of anything that happens externally to you. If you focus on yourself and have a growth mindset about the fact that you're always going to grow no matter what is thrown your way, then you'll persist through any obstacles that come up in front of you, and you'll win no matter what happens. And I absolutely believe in you, because if you've watched this far through the video, you're clearly unlike the majority of people, because you don't need to be overstimulated. You can watch a serious video like this. You are serious about your progress, your growth, and I know that you will go on to achieve amazing things. It's just a case of being sustainably consistent, continuously learning and adapting, and you can build a business that's successful alongside a full-time job. So that's that for today's video. I do hope you've enjoyed the video today, got some value from it, and learned how to start a business alongside a full-time job. It's all about getting your routine in place and being consistent. If you've enjoyed the video today, then let me know by commenting. Maybe that you've got some plans after watching this video about how you're going to create a new routine and build a business. Like the video if you like this type of video, so I can make more of this style. And also subscribe if you want to make sure you don't miss videos like this, because it makes a huge difference to the channel as well. If you are finding it difficult to start a dropshipping business or a side hustle of any sort alongside a 9-to-5 job, then you could check out the first link in the description. What that is just a link to a free community that I'm building called Freedom Builders, where we're getting ambitious, like-minded people in one room together to grow and learn from each other while we build businesses alongside full-time jobs. Or people like myself who are now running these businesses full-time. We're in there helping each other out, pushing each other on. So have a look at that if you are interested in getting around a community of like-minded people. If you're not, then feel free to completely ignore that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. That's the main thing. And with that said, I'll catch you in the next video.